Welcome back, nerds. We're your hosts this week. I'm Chad.
I am also Chad.
We're both Chad.
No, I'm Jake.
This week we're sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
Yeah, so this week we're going to go ahead and talk about a bunch of stuff that's coming up that we are super excited for in the world of TV and movies for the nerds.
We're also, instead of diving into anything for the second part of this episode, we're going to kind of just shoot the shit and reintroduce ourselves to some of our new listeners and just have fun with it. So I think we're just going to fuck around and see what happens. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So let's just get into it. Hold on. I got to get my lime out of here. I just threw it. I only had two hands to carry, so I just All right. Cheers. Oh, sorry. So let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast. Keep it.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to another week of the All Things Nerd podcast. Fair warning in advance, this is going to be a shit show, but this is your weekly dive into the All Things Nerd.
This is our script for this week.
Yeah, we're usually... there's usually something that we plan to talk about, but, this week we're just kind of going to reintroduce ourselves, as Jake said in the intro, and talk about some upcoming stuff, and it's going to be very loosey-goosey this week.
Yeah. We got some new listeners, and we want to kind of let them know what we're doing here. And
yeah, it's been about a year since we've introduced ourselves, so
yeah, it's also been a while since we've done some goofy shit on here.
Yeah, we've
normally we're pretty scripted, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but we are.
There's a rough outline.
Yeah. But it's been a while since we've just fucking riffed it, and so we want to, like Chad said, it's been a year since we've done this, or since we started doing this, and we thought it'd be kind of fun to go back to how we started it and just fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Now, before we start, the fucking around part and the finding out comes later. Before people actually get to know who you are that don't actually know, Jake, how has your week been?
My week's been good. We went,
broken piece of crap.
I have some issues with my knee. It's no secret to people that know me. And it did its thing this week and really put a fucking wedge in my life. But it's on the mend. I'm on the mend. Still limping around.
By that, he means he uses crutches now. Instead of just being confined to the couch.
Yeah. So, yeah. How about you?
Well, the weather's getting nice. So, the past few days I've been trying to spend more time out on, my balcony. I'll have my morning coffee out there, or after work, my after work cocktail. And just kind of hang out there. This past week, not going to say what company we work for, but because we work for the same company, but we had a work get together, which is really fun because since moving back to Minnesota, I've only gotten a chance to go out a couple of times.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, you weren't there.
I know.
Because you couldn't walk. You didn't have crutches yet. But it was a lot of fun.
It was there in spirit.
Some people were making fun of you for being broken. So
were they? Who?
I told you about this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you did.
They made jokes and then defended that it was a legitimate thing. They still made fun of me for it, though.
Cool.
But other than that, I've just been hanging out at home, so nothing special here. So, let's hop right into sponsor number one, and then we'll be right back to kind of reintroduce ourselves, and then just kind of like shoot the shit for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say it so bad. For our new listeners, anytime you hear us say, with that being said, you should take a drink of whatever you're drinking, because I guess we say it a lot, and it's been pointed out to us.
Don't let Nicole bully us into. My
Too
girlfriend is a
late.
bully. We're just gonna throw it out there now. And
But she's like the coolest person ever. She's like the cool kid
she
at
is. Oh
school
God,
that bullies you, and you're like, how can I be that person's friend? And they're
yeah.
like, she literally like points out the fact that you have a speech impediment, and you're like, I know, it's super great. Like,
she is the best. I love my girlfriend, but she decided to take a tally during one of our episodes and mark it down how many times we were saying it. And so now when we say that being said, you have to take a drink. So if you're listening to this, go ahead and give her a gulp.
So anywho's,
yeah.
Our
also it'd be fun if you guys call us out on it.
Yeah.
If we ever don't catch ourselves doing it. We're pretty good about catching ourselves.
Yeah, we're very self-conscious about it now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Thanks,
Nicole. Our first sponsor this week is Raise Energy Drinks. Fantastic energy drink with 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 crash. Jake, don't try and go grab a can. You need a crutch to get there, even though it's at the end of your desk. Absolutely fantastic. Tons of great flavors, and so much more than energy drinks if that's not your thing. But listen up and learn how to save 15% off your entire order. We'll be right back with you to tell you guys about us. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, guys. So we have been around for about a year now, and we have some new listeners, and we'd like to reintroduce ourselves to all of you guys so that our new listeners are on par with what we do here. And, yeah. So
how this happened.
Yeah. So Chad and I kind of wanted to just riff off each other, ask each other a couple questions, how we got into it, blah, blah, blah. Some of you guys already know this stuff, but for the new listeners, we want to give some insight. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So Jake, how did you become a nerd?
I was born and raised. Well, not raised. I was born that way. I don't know. I can't put my finger on a definitive moment that it happened. But I remember when I was a kid, when you would go to the grocery store, and in the checkout line, instead of like candy and soda, which they have now, like you know what I'm talking about when you're going up to the belt to put your groceries on, it was comic books. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what was in that line. So like you picture like a little kid like tugging on your mom's sleeve and be like, I want this one. And they're like, no, you can't have it. And I'm like, I want it. And so my mom would buy me, and at the time they were like 99 cents for like a comic book. So every time we go to the grocery store or something like that, my mom would buy me a comic book, my brother and I should say. Uh, and that I think that's for me where it started. And I just go home and read it. And that for me, that's where it all began for me. How about you? How'd you start?
Yeah, so I did not start with comic books. I didn't even really get into comic books until I was like in my 20s.
Okay.
Um, but I remember my my mom loved like the Star Trek TV shows, and I distinctly remember one of her good friends and coworkers when I was young had a daughter that was literally born 2 days before me. And we were over at their house, and I think I was like 7, maybe 8. And my mom's like, she put on Star Wars, like the original trilogy, like 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I was captivated, like immediately. And no, I must have been younger than that because Star Wars happened before Jurassic Park, and I saw Jurassic Park when it came out on VHS. So like that was like 95. So I must have been like 4, maybe 5 years old, watching Star Wars and just been like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's like being stoked about it. So it started for me with watching Star Wars on VHS as a 5.5-year old, and
Yeah,
just
I don't think I got into like movies and stuff until like way later on. I was all about comic books when I was younger.
yeah. I mean, and then obviously like Saturday morning cartoons. You get like the Spider-Man cartoons, X-Men cartoons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Fuck yeah, man. X-Men?
still a banger.
Yeah.
Still a great intro right there. But yeah, I mean that's really where I got into it, was through, I mean, my mom, but like by introducing me to Star Wars at a very young age. Oh, you looked like you wanted to make a comment there and you stopped yourself. I'm proud of you.
What? What?
Nothing.
I didn't say anything.
Exactly. But so as you've grown up, Jake, really what is your main consumption of like the nerd world? Like, is it movies? Is it TV? Still comics? Something else?
God, I would love. Here's the thing. I think we've talked about this even on this podcast before. I have a very tragic relationship with comic books.
Yeah.
I love comic books, and I've always loved comic books. I had, and we'll, I'm gonna take like 30 seconds to talk about this. I had shoe boxes full of comic books in plastic cases. Like I mean, the definition of nerd. I have an inhaler to prove it. I was the nerdiest nerd that there ever nerded. And my, unfortunately, I grew up in a trailer park. My trailer burned down one day, lost all my comic books. It's heartbreaking. I had a ton of them. Uh, One day I happened upon some comic books through my job at the time, and we won't talk about who that was. But the lady that I was there for an estimate had these file boxes, like you know 2 to 3 foot long file boxes full of comic books from her son who went away to college and he didn't want them, and she was like, I don't know, do you know what to do with these? And I was like, what are you gonna just throw them away? And she's like, yeah, I don't want. He doesn't want them. I don't want them. And I was like, I'll take them. And I took them, and there was probably like 5 or 6 boxes of like old school comic books. I mean, like legit, really good. Me and my buddy went through some of them, started looking up how much they costed, stuff like that. They, what?
Oh, I have some comics from the '90s, like framed on my wall.
Oh, I was like, what? Um, and I took them, put them in the trunk of my car, and literally like the night that I brought them home, my car got stolen. Uh, and I got my car back, but everything that was in my car had been stolen. So all those comics had been stolen. So I love comic books. I just have not since those two really shitty things happened. I haven't really invested myself into them, unfortunately. But I would say
Understandably.
yeah, looping back to your original question, now in my 30s, my main consumption of these things is, well, the internet for sure, and movies and TV. I love it. I've always loved it, and I'm a super annoying know-it-all. You know this. My girlfriend knows this.
Oh,
I
what?
watch I watch movies, and I'm like, oh, did you know that this was originally this? And my girlfriend's like, oh, that's cool. But it sounds kind of like, would you shut the fuck up and let me watch the movie? Like,
Did you know that when Viggo Mortensen kicked that helmet, he actually broke his foot? So that screams real.
I told her that.
For-
I legitimately, that is hilarious that you mentioned that because I did fucking tell her that when we watched Lord of the Rings. But
Oh,
so when
it's
I was
so...
younger, my main consumption was comic books. And now as an adult, it's definitely internet and television. Um, but yeah, how about you? What is your
Well, so since I was introduced to the nerd world through film, and then, I grew up as a musician, playing a handful of instruments. I went to school for music, and then I kind of transitioned while I was in school to, instead of doing like record producing and audio engineering, I transitioned more into like post production. So, sound design, uh, like cinematic scores and stuff like that. And that's what just captivated me. So I've stuck with movies being like my purest joy when it comes to like
mm,
the nerd stuff, mainly because I just love the idea of sound design. As I've gotten older, I've now gotten into like Dungeons and Dragons. Like we have a not a league, but an ongoing campaign with 4 or 5 other guys, depending on the week, where we play Dungeons and Dragons, which, as I was growing up being like the punk rock like music kid, I was like, oh, that shit's lame. Even though when I was in elementary school, I was like, Pokemon, yeah.
gotta
So
catch 'em all.
my love has always been in film and TV, from both the nerd aspect and then also the cinematography and all that stuff. So I mean, that really hasn't changed for me. Like movies, TV, all that is still my number one love when it comes to nerd stuff. But I'm trying to branch out, like, playing more games. In the past 5 to 6 years, I've really gone into like tabletop games. More recently with like Dungeons and Dragons, and I fucking love it, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so what's up?
That's what's up. Yeah, I know. I wanted to join the Dungeons and Dragons thing. I just haven't really found the time to do it.
Well, I mean, we like I'm by no means a young gun. I'm almost 32, but I'm, not to call out the rest of the guys in my campaign, I'm the youngest one in the group by at least 5 years.
mm,
So almost all the other guys in the campaign, you know, they have a family, wife, if not kids, or both. You know, all that. So like Saturday night's just like work for them the
Yeah.
best, and I work from home for the time being. For the past like year and a half or so, since you know COVID became a thing, I've been working from home. I've got the time. You, on the other hand, you know, Saturdays have been your night off. You know, you work, so like totally get it.
Yeah.
We will. I'm determined to get you into a Dungeons and Dragons
Oh,
campaign.
yeah, I'm
We
down.
just have to find a night that works. But
Yeah. As long as it doesn't have to be like if I join one night, I don't have to be in the next one, right?
no, as long as well, for me, no, because this campaign that I'm trying to get you to join, I want to try and be a dungeon master. So like, if you can't join for a night, like I'll just
Was it
control your character and not make you die.
ah ah ah.
Uh, but I mean, with the campaign that I'm currently in, we do it once, maybe twice a month. So like, it's not a huge commitment, which is a lot of fun too. But I'm determined to get you into it to where you're like to your girlfriend, and be like, "Sorry, babe, can't this week. D&D night."
I bet you I could talk her into joining.
Yes, please, because right now we're short like one or two people for the
Yeah.
campaign that I'm trying
And
to start. So
and it would probably just blow everyone's minds to have a female in there.
there might be a couple people that just like don't function properly because of it. Uh, Actually, most of the people that want to do it are pretty cool. So
Yeah.
also, of our main listeners, if you want to commit like one night a month, 1 to 2 nights a month to do some D&D, you know, hit us up on Instagram. Let me know. We'll do it.
I haven't played yet, so I cannot say whether it's a good time or not. But when I do,
It is fun.
I will.
It's a lot of
I
fun.
will.
You get
Yeah.
to be as nerdy as you want. I mean, literally, we've talked about it on the podcast within the past month. Vox Machina on Amazon Prime is
Mm.
literally an animated series based off of a Dungeons and Dragons campaign,
Mhm.
which is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, this is kind of what we do. I mean,
Yeah, tell them how this started, Jake. How did this podcast become a thing?
so when Chad and I became, I mean, we've known each other for a long time,
Yeah, we've
but we
known
didn't
each other
really,
for like at least a decade,
but
coming
we
up on
didn't
a
like,
decade. Yeah,
we didn't really become like friends for like, or at least good friends for a while.
yeah,
Um, and we started hanging out, uh, drinking. I don't even. When did we decide to? I think we went to the pub down here.
yeah. Like two
Yeah,
2 years ago.
yeah. Anyways, from there we started like FaceTiming each other and like getting hammered and just just talking like super nerdy shit. Like, oh, did you hear who's gonna be the new, you know, character, X-Men character in this movie or blah blah blah, and we would like talk about that and like, who do you think would do it better? I think this person would do it better. Blah blah. Blah. And I had no intentions of a podcast, and I went over to your house to get fucked up because that's what we were doing at the time.
Yeah.
And and you had a like a goal list or like calendar or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
my 2020 New Year's resolutions.
and one of them was like start a podcast, and I was like, hey man, like, would you be interested in starting a podcast based on what we're already doing? Let's get fucked up and talk about nerdy shit, and we'll just do what we're already doing. We'll put a camera in our face, and Chad came in his pants, and
It was a
here
lot.
we are.
It was
And
a
here
lot.
we are.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people notice. We cheers in with a shot. We usually cheers out with a shot, and during we drink, and it's a lot of fun. It's sometimes we have guests on the show that don't really drink, and that's fine. Do you?
Yeah,
But sometimes we
we
get guests
have
on the show that do drink, and we get pretty fucked up. It's a good time. I'm
yeah.
pretty drunk right now, to be
Yeah,
completely
we're
honest.
doing good tonight, man. Yeah, and also with I mean, even though Jake and I mean, our background is in comics, movies, comic book movies, shit like that. But I mean, we've had guests from comic book
Yeah.
writers to paranormal. I
Hmm.
don't know how to describe this. Surveyors, journalists,
Yeah.
paranormal journalists.
Oh, but we're
Uh,
open to nerdy shit that we're not normally a part of. I
yeah.
mean, the I'm even slurring a little bit. The Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Like, Chad didn't do that before we started this podcast, and now he does
Yeah,
D&D
I got
campaigns.
I got into it because when this podcast was brand new, we were
Mhm.
introduced to our now producer Alan,
Yeah.
and
Woo, Alan.
he's the best, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, one of the greatest guys ever. But that's how we got into it, or that's how I got into it, and we'll eventually get Jake into it.
I mean, and then what else did we get? I mean, I never ever, I've always wanted to go to Comic Con, but I've never done it until this podcast. And Chad and I went to last year, we went to New York Comic Con. Now we're
Sweet.
talking about, or not talking about, but talking to somebody that is part of running LA Comic Con. And hopefully we're going to have that person on the show. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we've
Yeah,
come very
and been
far.
introduced to people from like HeroCon out on the East
Yeah.
Coast, uh, like different.
Interviewed people that write their own comics. Jerry, Ken.
Yeah, Jerry and Ken are awesome, as well as
Co-
some cosplayers. What up,
yeah,
Ozzy J?
yeah,
Uh, it's been a lot of fun, and
yeah,
this podcast has given us tons of opportunities for. I mean, let's be honest, for not being as like huge as what you'd expect a podcast to present those opportunities with, and it's just allowed us to. I mean, it sounds nerdy to say, no pun intended, but to become better nerds, better
yeah.
and bigger nerds.
We're having fun with it, and that's what we've always said since the beginning. Like, this is just for fun, not
Yeah,
trying to be famous off of it, but we have whether our ratings show that or not, we have met some amazing fucking people that are a pretty big deal.
yeah.
And it's insane. So,
And
and
still to
now
this
like,
day, we don't make money from the podcast. Anything that we earn from this podcast, whether through sponsors, listeners, our Patreon page, all that goes right back into the podcast.
mhm.
Our merch sales, like that stuff just grows it so that we can give you guys more. And it's
Yeah,
fantastic. We absolutely love it.
yeah,
So that's a little bit about us.
yeah. I'm gonna do it. Ready? I'm gonna throw it out there. That being said,
You guys better drink. Just a fun week. Just a fun
let's
week.
get into sponsor two here, and then we'll talk a little bit about some upcoming shit that we're excited about. So,
Yeah.
sponsor two is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on goddamn everything.
It's so
Uh,
good.
listen up, we'll tell you a little more about it.
Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, you nerds. Now we want to talk about a bunch of shit that's coming up. Some stuff that's been delayed, unfortunately, or for the better, hopefully. DC. About stuff that's coming up.
We're looking at you.
Yeah, we are looking at you. Your DCEU, who isn't as great. But we want to talk about, some stuff that's coming up that we're excited for. Jake, where do you want to start?
Jesus. Let's start with the soonest. At the end of this month, we get Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah. What?
Yeah.
And Halo.
And Halo.
Same day, but let's start with Moon Knight.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm so stoked about this. Comes out end of this month on Disney+.
It comes out this week on the 24th. 24th or 25th? Yeah. Or is that on the 30th?
I thought it was the 30th.
That might be the 30th. Halo comes out on the 24th.
Okay.
I thought they came out the same week.
Nah.
We'll find out next week when we podcast if they're both out.
Yeah, but Moon Knight comes out. Halo, the series on Paramount Plus, comes out.
I unfortunately have to get another subscription.
I want to like this show. I don't have a lot of faith in it.
I think it's going to take a lot from the books and not as much from the games. And I'm not against that. I haven't personally read many of the books except for The Fall of Reach, which is kind of... I'm assuming that this kind of takes place towards the end of that book and the start of the game. And I'm okay with that. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Pablo Schreiber, Liev Schreiber's brother, is playing Master Chief. He's just a tall-ass motherfucker. But
Isn't
also...
Liev Schreiber like 6'4", 6'5"?
I mean, as tall as Hugh Jackman, but Pablo is taller.
But
it's going to be good. We're hoping it's going to be good. It looks awesome. It looks like everything that high school Chad would have wanted in a Halo TV show. If toned down, we've only seen previews. I'm hoping it's a little bit more aggressive and violent.
That was just me refraining from making fun of you in high school.
What, for liking Halo? Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a bro game if you look back to the early Halo days.
No, I liked it too. I played it. That's fun.
It was a great game. I'm really stoked for it. We don't know a whole lot about it. But it does seem like it's taking a little bit more from the lore and the books than from the direct games, which is good because we can fill in gaps because the games did a good job of creating a story.
What else we got?
But let's talk about Moon Knight for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be incredible. Also,
hopefully,
it also is putting a hero in the forefront with mental illness.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because that's not something that we've encountered.
And Disney came out and said that they're not going to use this to make any sort of fun of mental illness. Like, they're going to take it seriously. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry.
Science bless you. Sorry. Sorry, Mom. But I'm glad you liked that.
Good. That was funny.
But on top of that, Marvel and Kevin Feige, Mr. Marvel himself, has come out and also said that this is a very tonal shift when it comes to MCU films and especially the TV shows.
Yeah.
It's going to
Also,
be darker. They're not going to shy away from the violence.
yes, and I have to add to that what you just said because this just happened to me last night, and it probably happened to a lot of you. I have Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
When you logged onto your Disney Plus the other day, you had to re-sign in and choose to watch
The TVMA
more
ratings,
more violent stuff because also all of the Netflix and Agents of Shield Marvel
which was ABC and
shows
Netflix. Yeah.
have all now been added to Disney Plus, and they're all very much. Uh, I mean, if you've seen The Punisher, fucking goddamn,
I
it's
mean
bloody.
that has
Yeah,
blood and gore, language, sex scenes.
yeah,
I mean, TV sex scenes, but
yeah.
they're there.
So you
I'm going to
have
touch
to.
base on this in a second, but the one show that did not come over was Inhumans.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah, we're going to get to that when we talk
But
about
yeah,
Miss Marvel. But
so you had to upgrade your Disney Plus, and that's because these shows came, uh, and now,
like coming.
Moon Knight, which is also coming.
That's
go
really gross.
watch, go watch YouTube, and you'll see why we're laughing. Uh,
If
but
you've seen Super Bad.
yeah, but and so now we'll get a more. I mean, like you were saying, that Kevin Feige said that this is going to be the out of all the Marvel Disney Plus shows so far, this will be the most violent.
Yeah, and it's a tonal shift, and it makes sense also because in the comics, Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, and Blade all interact with each other regularly.
It's definitely setting up the Midnight Suns, which I'm
Thank you.
stoked about.
I couldn't remember their team up name off the top of my head, so I didn't want to say it, but it's
Because
it's much
Moon
more
Knight
brutal.
is Moon Knight is supposed to, from what I've read, this could all be speculation. Who fucking knows until we all watch it. But we're supposed to get, from what I read, a Blade cameo and a Jesus Christ, not Jesus Christ, but he's
He's
one of the
not.
Midnight Suns.
He's not real.
uh, Jon Snow's character, or Kit Harington's character
Oh, the
from
Black Knight,
Black Knight. Dane
Whitman.
Whitman. Thank
Yeah,
you. Sorry. And a Ghost Rider reference, but not a cameo. Which is setting up the Midnight Suns, which will be fucking dope.
and also with all of that being mentioned, see what I did there? With all of that, like coming to light, like this is also one of the first times that the Disney Plus shows for reviews and critics, the reviews and critics have seen like 80% of the season already.
Yeah.
So if you want to avoid spoilers, the sites that are heavy on spoilers, be aware. Just so you guys know. They're not getting 1 or 2 episodes in advance. They got 4 out of the 6. So just be aware of that if you don't want to be ruined by that, just be careful. Outside of all that, the show's going to be dope. It's going to be violent. It's going to be a tonal shift. We're going to get reference to Blade. We're going to supposedly get a cameo.
Supposedly.
Outside
I read it. Doesn't mean it.
outside of a Blade cameo, another thing that's coming out in April, now unless it's been pushed back to yet again, is Morbius
Oh yeah.
from Sony.
Yeah.
The living vampire. Oh, goodness.
I want to like this. I want this to be good.
I love Jared Leto as an actor. He's fantastic. I
Yeah.
would love to see just a gruesome,
Love the character
brutal.
too. I love Morbius. I remember the cartoons. I thought he was one of the coolest. But
Yeah.
after the fucking shit show that we saw in New York,
Oh,
that
you
was
mean Venom too? Mm.
Venom 2 done by Sony, I have like 0.0001% hope in this movie actually being good.
They keep taking these characters that are villains, and on the
Mm-hmm.
rare occasion are the reluctant anti-hero. Like they don't even
Yeah.
want to do good, but they have to because there's a worse evil out there than them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, let's build on that and make you like this character. And it's like,
Yeah.
what happens if when and let's just say when, because No Way Home has happened. When we see these characters go up against Spider-Man,
You're gonna be conflicted
you
because
should
you're
not
like,
be
oh,
rooting
I'm.
for the villain because you like them from their solo films and be like, oh,
Mhm.
but I like Spider-Man more. It should be,
Yeah.
oh, I know that this character is evil and sometimes like has misguided intentions and does good on occasion.
Although I will say, because of No Way Home, they did kind of put the kibosh on Tom Hardy's Venom and Spider-Man meeting up.
Which just opens the door for more speculation on what we may or may never get in the
But
future.
we could get like a more not like a likable Venom out of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. Oh, you're right, because of the end credit scene from No Way Home where some of the symbiote was left behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Morbius, I mean, as we saw from the trailer, interacts with Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture from
Hmm.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
But they're still trying to like portray, at least through the trailers. We don't know until we've seen the film.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he is a at least in the Venom movies they kind of make it seem like Venom's like he's like we're only gonna kill bad people, but in Morbius he's fucking just ripping through people in the trailer.
Yeah. Which gives
So
me more hope after seeing
yeah.
Venom 2,
Oh, God.
that time in
Have
New
you ever
York.
have you ever actually watched a dumpster fire before and like stood by it and you like
I mean,
smell it and you're like oh
I
God.
was a U.S. citizen in 2020, so yeah.
That was Venom too. We saw it together. That movie was
Despite how
just
hungover and miserable we were going into the theater,
it
I
was hot
mean, we were on
garbage.
vacation. Like, let's not judge. The
It
movie
was
itself,
hot garbage.
also, it's 90 minutes. The last time that I saw a movie that was 90 minutes long and truly enjoyed it, was never. Um, but
Was
watched
what?
was never. But watched a movie that was only 90 minutes long, and I was like, I didn't hate it, and I will watch it at least one more time in my lifetime. Was the movie Phone Booth with Colin Farrell and Kiefer Sutherland? Still not a great movie. That's the only other time. So like 90. Did you like that movie or did you hate that movie?
Hated it.
That's fair.
They should have killed Colin Farrell
They should have.
instead of rubber bulleting his ass.
Yeah, I mean they should have just murked his ass.
Yeah.
Again, point proven. Like 90 minutes is not a long time to create a
That's
full
not enough time.
movie's worth of
Unless you're
story.
making like a cartoon Disney movie for kids who don't have a fucking attention span to make it past 90 minutes.
Even then, Frozen was longer. Moana was
Listen,
longer. Frozen 2 was
Moana,
longer.
I love Moana. And I enjoyed the first Frozen, but Frozen 2 was garbage.
Had a banger of a song. But Frozen 1 is just, you can't beat it. Let's just be honest.
Anyways, we're way off topic.
No, but it's proven the point that like 90 minutes was not long enough of a
Yeah.
movie for Venom 2. Sony is like pumping out these films and they're like, "Oh, Crave the Hunter is coming like We're gonna do the web of spiders with like
The web of spiders.
what I don't know what it's supposed to be called with like Spider Gwen and Madam Web and shit
Yeah.
and Spider Woman.
The the Madam Web movie.
Is that what it's called? Is Madam Web?
With Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're coming out with all these things and like that's fine, but like develop the story.
Yeah.
We have the Batman, Endgame, Infinity War, fucking
Here's-
the Titanic,
Here's where I'm at
Avatar.
with
2.5 hour long movies is not a long time. You
Yeah.
can create a good story, and if it's
let them-
captivating,
Let them keep making shit movies as long as they leave Tom Holland with Disney. That's where I'm at with it.
then
Who gives
Disney's
a
just
fuck?
gonna buy it, and I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. Hopefully.
But I do like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
But I don't think Sony did it right.
Sony doesn't do it. The only good thing. Here's the thing.
Sony is good at casting. They're
this
not
is
good
what
at story writing.
This is what Sony and Warner Bros. Have done together. Not together, but at the same time and equally fucked up. Is that they're like, oh man, we made a good fucking movie. Let's continue making these movies. And then they made a chain of shit movies thinking that they were good. And then once in a while, they make another one. After like 6 garbage movies, they make one hit. And then they're like, oh yeah, we did do good. Did we do good? Dad, did we do good? Yeah, we did good.
That's
okay.
like average, right? Ladies?
Let's
Ladies?
make
That's like average?
Let's make like 6 more
That a lot?
garbage movies before we make another good movie. Them and Warner Bros. Can, in my opinion, ass fuck each other into the dirt and just disappear. Fuck them both. Like, just fucking, god damn it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but if you look at Aquaman, even Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill, great Superman.
God, I will flip this fucking table over if I don't see Superman as Henry Cavill again. I meant to say Henry Cavill as Superman again. But
tomato.
Yeah.
Great.
Same guy.
Great casting. Terrible story. They're doing a decent job of casting the actors in the roles that do well, but they're not doing the roles justice, or the characters, or even the actors justice.
Yeah.
We just need better stories.
Good segue into DC and the pushbacks.
What hasn't been delayed?
I don't know. Amber Heard going to prison.
Yeah, I mean, spousal abuse is no joke. She's the worst.
The worst.
Next month it goes to trial. So that's kind of cool. Hoping for the worst for her and the best for Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And that's for all you people that want to jump down our throats. This is based on the information that we know at this point in time. Don't come at us. Get bent.
Yeah. Yeah. Read it.
Yeah, just Google is free. We say that not really reluctantly, but because we lost a guest on the show because of our comments about that situation. It's like, well, look it up.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, like, The Flash was delayed. Aquaman 2 was delayed. Shazam 2 was delayed. Black Adam was delayed. What? Like, everything was delayed. And a handful of these movies are
like
pretty
2023.
much... Yeah.
Like, not delayed a couple months, like delayed like a year. And these movies are like...
They still have a slot for, I think it's December of this year.
Yeah.
but they haven't announced what's going there yet. Assuming it's probably Aquaman 2 because that was the one closest to completion.
Yeah.
But they haven't said for sure. We don't know what is going to come out in December, if anything. But we were supposed to get 3 movies this year, and they've all been delayed.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why. And then beyond that, I mean, back to Marvel. I mean, we get Miss Marvel in June.
Yeah.
We got our first trailer for it. It looks like it's going to be fun. It's really awesome to see another female driven. You good? Trying to put your leg up?
Yeah. My table just like shifted. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We get another female driven lead, which is awesome. And on top
And
of
minority.
minority, Muslim. They even talk about it. It's a line taken directly from the comics about Ms. Marvel doubting herself of, yeah, you don't get very many brown girls from Jersey or Jersey City. That's the hero. And, I mean, true in the comics and everything that we've seen so far. But it's very true to the character. The only thing, and I can look past it, is the way that she gets her powers. Is it's much more like Shang-Chi, where it's her actual bangles, amulet, her power bracelets, if you will. I get it because, as we mentioned before, the whole Inhumans TV show that just tanked. Because in the comics, Kamala Khan is an Inhuman.
Yeah.
I get that Marvel's like, no, we're not going to talk about that. Like, probably ever again. And it also kind of like ties into, like I said, Shang-Chi, but also a lot of her powers are very reminiscent of what we saw in WandaVision with Monica Rambeau. So it still makes sense. It's just not 100% comic accurate. I get it. Like, I'm not upset about it. When we first talked about this show, I was like, bring in the fucking Inhumans and make it comic accurate. And then after seeing the trailer, I'm like, yeah, it still looks like it's going to be really good, and I'm really excited for it. And I completely understand why they're not bringing the Inhumans into it, because yikes. You know? It's like the Inhumans put out a diss track towards Eminem, and then he responded, and then we got that tone-deaf cover of Paramore. I mean, not Machine Gun Kelly. Oh, we weren't talking about him.
No, what's his name actually? It's like Coulson.
Who cares?
Coulson something. Yeah.
Coulson.
Yeah.
Coulson Phillip.
All you need to know about this guy is that he's fucking from Ohio. And let me tell you something about Ohio.
Let me tell you something about Ohio. It's not great.
It's garbage. Oh my God, it's garbage. Everything. The food, the people.
The pizza.
The pizza. Oh my God. Here's some cheese with ketchup. I hope you like it.
Where are Marcos?
Yeah. God damn it. And I mean, he's representing that pizza as he is, ketchup with cheese.
Yeah, it's not great.
That's what you are to you're not emo. Here's the thing. You're not emo. I hate the fact that people are comparing to this guy to emo music, because I love emo music. I grew up on emo music.
Far left turn, but yes.
He's fucking 14-year-old girl pop punk. I don't even want to throw punk in there. It's your pop music.
It's pop music with a guitar and drums.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically what's the name of that? Oh God, I don't even want to.
Don't get me wrong. Some of his singles are very catchy.
Yeah, Britney Spears can be catchy. That's
Exactly.
pop music. It's pop music. You're a
Exactly.
pop star. That's all you are. You're a pink-haired, fucking lanky pop star.
Oh,
I
I did
don't know
not mean
how
to.
we got here. I
It's
don't
because
know how we got here, but we
I
got here.
compared the Inhumans TV show to Coulson, whatever.
I will say, in his defense, I did like the first couple singles that came out like a year ago.
Super
I was
catchy.
like, I was like, yo, these are bangers. But then he was like, Eminem ripped me a new one, and I turned into a
He also
weirdo.
got really, yeah,
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 I could use harsher words, but I won't.
yeah. Don't, yeah.
Yeah, you just, dude, like, just he. The thing is, he was a decent rapper. Like, he was a good rapper.
Yeah.
Like,
Not my style of rap that I enjoy because, like, I like '90s rap, like
you,
Biggie and
you
Tupac
were,
and
but
stuff
he
like that.
was
But
better at rap than he is at whatever the hell you call it
he
now.
he was a good rap artist, hip hop artist.
It just goes to show, don't fuck with Eminem. I don't know why rappers are like putting Eminem on this, like,
Hit list.
yeah, they're like, all right, this is what we got to be better than this. You're not gonna be. You're never gonna be. And like, and maybe they're only doing it to try to boost their careers because they're like, oh man, look
If
at MGK.
if
Eminem
I pull
ripped
him
this dude a
out,
new one.
yeah,
Yeah. And he fucking made me a fucking pop star. Maybe we could do the same. Y'all are fucking dumb.
yeah,
Don't,
stop, don't do it.
yeah. And because Eminem is definitely listening, but like, don't blow any more of these guys up. Like, just, who gives a shit? Let them
Yeah,
talk their
let
shit.
let let him do rap and hip hop and boost you up,
Bro,
please.
you're the king. Nobody
We
that
still
grew
have
up.
My Chemical Romance and Taking Back Sunday in the pop punk scene. Like they're still
Yeah.
around. Don't dilute it.
Ugh. Anyways.
Anyways, the last thing that's
Anyways.
coming up that we're super stoked for is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Woo.
We still don't know a lot about it. We know that we're going to get the Grand Inquisitors back. We're Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker, depending on the scene. Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Darth Vader.
Yeah,
I
it's
even
gonna be
read that it would
fantastic.
be Darth Vader. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's still going to be scarred because it takes place after Revenge of the Sith.
I assume like the like ending will be him like fully like embracing the Vader
Well,
persona.
I mean, I think that he's fully embracing it already because he has to like survive.
Yeah, live.
There's a lot of reasons behind that, and a lot of it has to do with Palpatine being a dickhead. But we're not gonna dive into that lore right now. We will when the show comes out. Don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
I am prepared, and my body is willing. Uh, it's Wednesday, my guys. As I sink back in my chair. But no, there's not a whole lot of like plot details. We just know that it takes place, a few years after Revenge of the Sith.
I hate
Like,
you.
I loved you. You were my brother.
You were supposed to
You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join
not
them.
join them. I hate you. I love the marshmallow interpretation of that on TikTok. I have to say, if you can find it and add it to our whatever, you should, because that's amazing.
I'll look for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out. We're very excited for it. Somehow we turned an episode of just like talking shit into like a little bit longer than our normal episodes.
Well, we really wanted to just shoot the shit with you guys. This is what we're about. This is what we do. Our episodes are normally we will follow a series or a movie or something like that, and we'll talk about that. This week we were feeling like there wasn't a whole lot out that we wanted to talk about, so we thought it'd be fun to reintroduce ourselves, like we said in the beginning, and just kind of shoot the shit about some upcoming stuff. And I think we did.
Oh yeah, mission
good job there,
accomplished, but not like in a George Bush way. If you did not get that reference, you are too young. Make sure your parents are okay with you listening to this podcast. In follow up to that, don't tell your parents about this podcast.
And keep listening.
And keep listening. And follow us on Patreon and all that stuff.
We're gonna also I was gonna say look for us soon on Spotify. We're gonna start putting an advertisement out, so I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll have some ads out, and also follow us on TikTok. We're a month or two away from starting to actually post regularly on there. Now that Jake and I are back in the same state, and Jake's about to move, so that we'll be even closer.
Mm. One of the first things that we're gonna do is what, Chad?
Well, let's get to that. Oh my God, I must be drunk. Let's get to that in just 1 second. We are going to go ahead and start closing out this episode, though. But before we do, I mean, like Jake mentioned, we have a pretty awesome. I mean, we're going to do it as a live event, but we'll still post the video afterwards of us doing something kind of fun and crazy. And what is that, Jake?
We're going to do the Hot Ones challenge.
Yeah. But with vegan chicken nuggies, yeah?
Vegan chicken nuggies, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Neither of us
not about
meat.
that. But yeah, our mouths and our buttholes are going to burn for sure.
It's not going to be great. And we're also, just because one of our sponsors is a hot sauce manufacturer, we're going to add an 11th into it, just so that kind of give you guys a reference as to how great Crybaby Craig's really is.
Yeah, we'll probably start with that one, and then we can kind of, as we go through the wings, like this one is not as hot as Crybaby Craig's.
Yeah, we'll use that kind of as like a
hotter than it's like
as
a
reference base point. Yeah, reference point. There you
go.
But just like in Hot Ones, we're not going to have an actual host asking us questions. So if there's stuff that you guys want to know about us, our opinions on things, send us messages on Facebook, Instagram.
Well, this will be a live event, like Chad said. So treat it like you would have if you were following us when we were doing live episodes once a month. This will be the first one since we've done them, honestly.
Yeah, since the last one, yeah.
And we'll go live, and you guys can ask us questions as we're tearing the shit out of our mouths.
And insides. But still send us some questions so that, there's less downtime. But, yeah, let us know what you guys want to know. Because our opinions are the gold standard, clearly. No. Outside of that, I mean, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, All Things Nerd Podcast, All Things Nerd Pod on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We
Anywhere
don't do
that you get your podcasts.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. I think. I don't know. We're on
Are we? Really?
I don't know if we're on iHeartRadio. We're on a lot. Maybe not there, but we'll get there. If we're not there, I'll check this week.
Maybe start looking for our ad on Spotify. We're gonna
in the next in the next few weeks, we're gonna be up there. And
we love you guys.
Yeah, we love you, and thank you so much for being here. And Jake,
this has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.
Titty.